welcome back to Tires on the Road. In this episode, we're going to be showing you how and why we relocated the island, the accent lighting that we added under the island, how we repositioned the soffit above the kitchen sink. We also pre-wired this for LED. However, I ran out of LED strip lighting, so I wasn't able to finish that for this video, but I'll show you what that looks like in a future video. I did add lighting above the soffit, but I did not get any of that on video, so you'll just have to take that for what it is. There it is. One thing that I did do, again, it's not in the video, but it's pretty cool. Added lighting inside of the pantry with a motion switch here. So when the door closes, the light goes out. When the door opens, the light comes on. If you wouldn't mind, leave us a comment down below if there's anything you'd like to see from us in regards to the Alliance Avenue 30 RLS or the 32 RLS, because pretty much this living area is exactly the same. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you'd like to see. Future video coming up is we did add surround sound to the entertainment center and a subwoofer behind the fireplace. That'll be coming up. So other than that, let's get into this video right now.
For to make up through the fall, working for that dollar, but it never adds up at all. But coming around the riverbank, heard the old train whistle sang. The very next thing you hear from me, I've been tied to a ball and chain.
So I got a little aggressive with this. My only concern now is that when I clean this panel up and I put it back into place, how the plumbing is going to work out. I'm not worried about the hot and cold water. I'm just worried about the ABS. If you're ever wondering what it looks like under the kitchen island, I'm also adding one more support piece here across the bottom, because this flimsy stuff here give the bottom of the shelf a little more support. Kind of a big span without having anything there. I think that'll work good.
Working for that dollar, but it never adds up at all. But coming around the riverbank, heard the old train whistle sang. The very next thing you hear from me, I've been tied to a ball.
All right, the relocation of the island is completed. It wasn't difficult, just took a lot of time to make sure everything was right. I think that bottom drawer needs to be adjusted a little more. Looks like the track needs to come up in the back. But the reveals are now equal on each end. See the overhang? It is centered now on the pedestal. I did have to move the plumbing over a little bit. So I made this cover plate here to cover the old hole. Cleaned up the water lines. Made those look a lot better so the lines are accessible now. Reinstalled the floor, recaulked everything. Rotate this top piece as the plumbing came over, so I had to put a coupling in here because it had to come this way. Now everything looks super sanitary. Got these spacers in here on the cold and water lines. Valves are accessible. That's the way it should have looked from the factory, but we know how that goes. I just like tinkering and making things better. This end here, the same thing. The island is now centered. Have the same amount of reveal on both ends. This way, on the toe kick. Looks much better. Look at that. That's money now. Plenty of room. And the linoleum is not all crunched up underneath there. And now when I park it, I can leave the bottom drawer open now so that it'll breathe and not get all stinky and musty inside. Let's see what the other side looks like. Plenty of room. Linoleum's not smushed. Plenty of room here. Got 1.25 inches to the table. Love it.
Well, come this time tomorrow, reckon I don't know where I'll be. But if it wasn't for that old sheriff, I'd be back in Tennessee.
Today's task is to add lights around the island, LED lighting. It's going to tie into this switch here, which I put in previously. This top switch here goes to the lighting up on top, which I'm going to change those LEDs out because they're too blue. It's too close to sunlight. I'm going to put a warmer LED strip in there. Then I think this bottom switch right here, I'm going to put lights underneath the stairs so it'll illuminate the stair treads. I'm still thinking about that one though. All right, let's get with it. Oh, one other thing too is when I moved to the island, when I relocated the island, I put the power in, or the wire from here into the basement or the garage, and I have to fish that wire up into here as well, but the wire's already in. The wire comes up over here behind the drawers, so I just need to remove the drawers to be able to get my power in there and get it hooked up. All right, so now let's get with it. All right, so I'm going to be using the LED that came with that kit, which is an adhesive back. I'm not going to need the power converter because we already have 12 volt. And then this is an on-off switch with a dimmer. I'm not going to need that either because we have that built into the rig already that I put in prior. All right, so to be able to make the 90-degree corners on the island, after I cut my first strip here, which is a little less than 24 1/4, because you have to cut the LED strips on these little joints right here, and this allows you to solder on your positive and your negative power. I'm gonna have to make a 90-degree going flat because you can't take this and turn it around 90 degrees. So I have to stop at the corner, do a couple little jumper wires, and then continue my LED strip down the front of the island, make a couple little more jumpers, and then turn and go down the other side of the island.
Gather round, you good time boys, listen to my song. May not know better, but I know you know right from wrong.
The hole is drilled through the corner. I could take my little lead here, hook it to my fish wire, bring it through, solder my LEDs on, pull this back through, and then adhere my LED strip right up in here. Just need to clean the wiring up in here, put the shelves back in.
Gather round, you good time boys, listen to my song.
All right, our next task is to fix this gap in the ceiling where there's a 1/2 inch here, and then there's a 0 gap down there. And I believe it's because these battens run too long, so they just stuck it up there and put some screws in it. I'm also going to add some LED lighting to this. The big challenge is going to be getting the power from here over and down the wall to the switch. I'm hoping that I can use the 12 volt power that's coming here, pull that out with a couple string lines on it.
Well, come this time tomorrow, reckon I don't know where I'll be. But if it wasn't for that old sheriff, I'd be back in Tennessee. Playing cards and crap games, not looking for the score. And if I ever get back home again. I'll never roam no more. Gather round, you good time boys, listen to my song. May not know better, but I know you know right from wrong. Buy yourself a postcard.
Another thing we did too was plumbed up those fixtures because they were kind of at an angle because of the roof slope. I'm going to see if I can trim one of these legs so that the lights are sitting level and they don't have that stagger in them. I don't know if that's going to be possible. It doesn't look bad staggered though. All right, changing plans. I just got home with the rig after being out of town for 3 days doing some work. And my new light showed up for the LED so I could finish the soffit. I've already taken it down. Getting ready to add the LED lighting here. I purchased from Alliance some of the white seam tape that matches the color, and I'm going to cover the ends of this soffit, that wood grain, before I put the LED lighting in. That's on all 4 corners. So before and after. With the LED lighting on here shining up, it would just exaggerate this look. That's why I purchased this material to cover those corners up. Now all the LED is attached all the way around. I'll need to solder little jumper wires on 3 corners to get power all the way around, and then solder up my main power supply right here. And then this will plug into a wire which I already have in the RV to power this.
Well, come this time tomorrow, reckon I don't know where I'll be. But if it wasn't for that old sheriff, I'd be back in Tennessee.
So in order to get my power over here to the light box, I had to take my fish tape and go from here to this light, and then from this light to that light, and then from there I took this down, and then I was able to get my power from here into here, and then over and down the wall into the panel.
If I ever get back home again, I'll never roam no more.
I just couldn't help myself, had to keep going.
Good time, boys, listen to my song. May not know better, but I know you know right from wrong. Buy yourself a postcard so you can see the lights of town. Find yourself a country girl, keep quiet and settle down.